Another important thing about the play is its use of soliloquies. This play is remarkable for its use of soliloquies. Soliloquy is an act of talking to oneself, whether silently or aloud. In drama, it denotes the convention by which a character alone on the stage utters his or her thoughts aloud. Playwrights have used this device as a convenient way to convey information about a character's motives and state of mind, or for purposes of exposition, and sometimes in order to guide the judgments and responses of the audience. This is how soliloquy has been defined in a glossary of literary terms. We can have different examples of soliloquies also. For example, Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus opens with a long soliloquy. Shakespeare's Hamlet has some very famous soliloquies. This play is very remarkable for its use of soliloquies. Let us have an example of one of the soliloquies from the play. Here we see that Meenakshi is on the stage. She has come to Kashmir searching her son, and when she reaches Kashmir, these are the words that she speaks. Meenakshi, Kashmir, this is the valley beloved of the gods. Likely so far, 'tis beautiful. A pity. 'Tis so beautiful. For its beauty causes war. A beautiful woman, beautiful, too much so. The playground of the gods she is called, yea, gods. Why do you not keep her for yourselves? Or is it that our battle here is play for you, that you allow such discord in this vale? My son, where are you? This enchantress has lured you away. It was ever your wish to fly high into the clouds, and here the clouds girdle the vale below. Are you satisfied, my son? As you lie in the arms of this siren, does she keep you warm, my son? She looks so cold to me, and yet it was your desire to fly here. And even as I caught you in that last embrace, I did not hold you but an empty frame, decked in blue, surge and star. Your heart was already here, your mind's eye seeing below the plane you piloted, this place, this wretched, beautiful place, my son, my little one, she sobs. So this is the soliloquy that marks the entry of Meenakshi on the stage. She calls Kashmir a beautiful enchantress, an enchantress that captivates sons. And these sons, the sons of the nation, they come here to save it from the clutches of the enemy. And while saving this beautiful land, they all sacrifice their lives, they all die there. And Meenakshi also says that this is the beauty of Kashmir, that is why it is considered to be the land of gods. And then she questions gods, why don't you keep this land for yourselves? And she answers that also while questioning, and she answers that also with another question. She says, do the gods amuse themselves by watching humans fighting with each other? So this is the soliloquy which Uma Parmeswaran has used here in this play to present the main theme of the play and to take the action forward. This soliloquy opens up the theme of war. This soliloquy shows that the reason behind all that war is this land, the valley of Kashmir. So here the soliloquy not only releases Meenakshi's inner feelings, but at the same time these words also enlighten the audience, also inform the readers about the coming action, about the coming scenes, and these words spoken by Meenakshi also set the pace of the play. So this is how Uma Parmeswaran has used the art of soliloquy very beautifully. Here we have some words by Uma Parmeswaran which she has said about this play. She says that Sons Must Die is set against the backdrop of Kashmir and India-Pakistan War of 1947-1948. She has also talked about the concept of subcontinent. She has in these words she has also presented two different entities, that are cultural entity and the political entity. The concept of the subcontinent as a cultural entity has always been a topic of primary interest of Indian authors and specifically the diaspora authors. It has been discussed, talked about, written and read again and again. Such writings were based on and had strengthened the outburst of patriotism. So the discussion of cultural entity is one thing and the discussion and concept of political entity is another. During the time of war, as we know that everyone feels a sense of patriotism or Deshbhakti. And these wars are a time when people feel proud of their army. And the Indo-Pakistan or Indo-China wars were such times when many people went to the railway stations to cheer our khaki-clad Jawans, while many others remained stick to their radios, listening to the news about the war. And that was also a time when people used to go to railway stations just to wish and honor all those soldiers who were going to fight for the nation, who were going to save the nation. And the people of our nation used to carry some sweets, garlands and sometimes food items also for these Jawans, for these soldiers of our nation. So this is a moment, every war is a moment when a sense of patriotism is always there. So this specific sense of patriotism is presented here in this play. But along with patriotism, along with pride for nation and along with love for all those soldiers, there is also an associating feeling of pain and trauma. Many mothers lost their sons during such wars. Many sisters lost their brothers and many women lost their husbands. All this was a part of the cultural entity. Since this was the time when the political entity was still beyond the imagination of some older generations, relationships were decided by the mutual understanding rather than by the shifting borders. However, the borders of nations and their respective political entities became more rigid and the relationships were soon dictated by them. So here in this play, another important thing that we notice is Uma Parmeswaran does not glorify war. Instead, she presents the horrors of war. She presents the pity of war. As Wilfred Owen has presented in his poem, The Pity of War, where he has extended the vision of war far beyond bloodshed and misery. Along with presenting the traditional view of war where it is glorified, it is romanticized, Wilfred has also created a picture of the horrors and pains associated with the concept of war. All those sufferings that are associated with the image of war are presented by the poet in his poem. He has shown that the sufferings of individuals are real, and he has presented all these sufferings of individuals during World War I. Similarly, Uma Parmeswaran has also shown the sufferings of people during Indo-Pakistan War. Next topic to be discussed is post-traumatic stress disorder, commonly referred to as PTSD. Psychologists studied World War II veterans and they realized that their symptoms were long lasting, and those symptoms went beyond anxiety. These symptoms included intense, disturbing thoughts, feelings of anxiety and pain. These symptoms also included flashbacks or nightmares, where these soldiers of the war, they used to feel that same intensity of pain which they had experienced at the time of war. These symptoms also included sadness, fear or anger, and a feeling of detachment from other people. So the incidences of psychiatric casualties and how troops performed in battle have affected the condition of soldiers. In 1952, gross stress reaction was discovered as one of the categories. PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder was formally recognized as an official disorder in 1980, which referred to the painful condition of the soldiers after the war. Here in this play we see that two specific themes are presented by the playwright. The very first theme is anti-war play. Uma Parmeswaran has not romanticized war. She has presented that the concept of sacrifice is always there. Sacrificing one's life for one's nation is a moment to glorify, a moment to feel honored. But at the same time, fighting for a piece of land and sacrificing human lives is something which should not be celebrated. That's what Uma Parmeswaran has presented in this play. This play presents trauma, misery and sufferings of war. It shows the meaninglessness of war. Next thing that we notice here is duty versus desire. Uma Parmeswaran presents the theme of duty versus desire, where she uses two major characters, the character of Hari and the character of Nand Kishore. Both these characters long for their carefree good old days. Both these characters are stuck in the turmoil of war. But at the same time, one of the characters happily accepts his ending, happily accepts his death and is very proud of sacrificing his life for the nation. While the other character, the character of Nand Kishore, is shown as a man who longs for his good old days, who does not want to die at this young age. However, these two young soldiers, Hari and Nand Kishore, are shown as committed and dedicated towards their duty. So, duty is preferred over desire. Next thing we notice here in this play is presentation of idealistic notion of war versus futility of war. The idealistic notion of war is presented with the help of the character Prem Behan, while the futility of war is presented with the character Meenakshi. Prem Behan, who is consumed by idealistic notion of war, she glorifies a war, she feels very proud of her son who has sacrificed his life for the nation, while Meenakshi is totally against the glorification of war. She laments the futility of war and is extremely sad at the death of her son Hari. Sons Must Die is a very poignant play which represents three mothers on the stage. The concept of shifting borders and political entity has been discussed by deploying these three mothers on the stage, each coming from a different state, each coming from a different part of the subcontinent. It serves as a critique of the destructive nature of war, exposing its inherent evils and consequences. Through vivid portrayal, the play highlights the tragic reality of numerous lives lost in armed conflicts, raises a compelling question about the justification of sacrificing Indian sons in wars. The play's open ended nature encourages readers to contemplate the enduring psychological effects of war, especially on soldiers and their families. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you.